I've been getting into One Piece again, and just finished Skypiea. I expected it to be a steaming pile of dog doo-doo, since it's what made me drop the show 6 years ago. But now that I've watched it all the way through, and also sold my soul to corporate America, I don't think it deserves the bad rep. In fact, this is now my favorite saga. Granted, there's many more arcs to come, but I was surprised how much more certain themes meant to me after becoming an adult. I'm not trying to say that Skypiea is flawless though. At a certain point, the story becomes very fighting heavy, which is arguably not One Piece's strong suit, especially within the anime, which tries to milk out every possible second it can, and ends up killing the momentum or comedy. Part of me wishes I could enjoy these fights like some people clearly still do, but the Sabzeruz fight taking 4 episodes with almost 3 episodes of screen time is just ridiculous to me. Anyways, this isn't really unique to Skypiea and is kinda just how the One Piece anime is, but what is unique to Skypiea is this feeling of aimlessness that makes you question why you're even sitting through these. This is the product of Luffy's main motivation in Skypiea, to just have a good adventure, which in terms of connection to the main story might as well be no connection at all, and I think is why a lot of people ask if Skypiea is filler and if it can be skipped. This combination of poorly animated fights, a lot of fights, and a general sense of confusion and aimlessness stretched over 43 episodes made portions of Skypiea almost unbearably painful to get through. So much so that I wouldn't blame somebody for skipping Skypiea if they just wanted to enjoy some anime, because 1/3 of Skypiea was basically negative enjoyment. And this kind of anime is almost not allowed to exist anymore. With, I think, One Piece being the last long-running shonen in existence. And of course, everybody's happy about that. In newer shows, the art is better, the animation is better, and the pacing is tight. Yet there's something fundamental about One Piece, and in particular Skypiea, that seems to transcend all of these for me. And you might think I mean in spite of the drawbacks I just listed, but what if I told you those weren't necessarily drawbacks at all? After finishing the arc, part of what made it so special was that lack of external motivation. Because as Oda slowly revealed to us the grander plan he had for Skypiea, it gave this feeling of going from feeling lost and confused and not even sure if I wanted to finish the arc, to feeling so glad I did, because here laid a treasure I couldn't have even imagined, and a story that I could only describe with one word: beautiful. And all those moments of negative enjoyment and boredom, moments where I doubted why I was even watching, actually had a purpose this entire time. Where Skypiea itself was a multi-layered story about different groups of people going through trials of faith. Watching Skypiea was a trial as a viewer. Now you could argue that any anime that has sections that are difficult to get through is a trial of faith, but size matters. Steins Gate, Madoka Magica, Vinland Saga Season 1 are shows that all fit this description, but none of them are even close to the same degree of length and just pain needed to get through them. I'm not saying Skypiea wouldn't be improved by tightening up the pace and improving the animation, but I'm not saying it would be either.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Basically, speeding things up might feed more dopamine to my brain, but it would lose some of that feeling of pilgrimage. And I'm not saying this is the right way or the only way to understand it, but only that that's what it is for me. A hike to a summit that we can't see and that may not even exist. To me, it is One Piece in a microcosm. Dreams for the sake of dreams, and adventure for the sake of adventure. And I don't think I'll be able to easily forget that feeling of finally seeing the summit. To know that you are but one small traveler in a story far larger and greater than you. At a time in my life when I needed to remember that seeing is believing. But sometimes, the most real things in the world are those we can't see. That faith shall not be in vain, and that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. To call it a miracle almost feels like an understatement, because if God exists, this is what he would sound like. Yes, I'm just talking about One Piece, which is just a Japanese cartoon made for children, but how many people have been put down by the word just? It's just an anime, it's just a video game, or it's just an island in the sky. This arc came back to me at a time when I needed to relearn how to take a leap of faith. And even with all my complaining about pacing and animation, I don't think I'd change a thing. Now, I'm not trying to say that if you watch Skypiea and you don't feel a little tug on your soul, or even if you completely hate it, that you're doing something wrong. The magic of media is that it's just that. A medium between two human beings. What you get from it is entirely subjective, not just on who you are, but who you are right now. Sometimes anime fans are scared of rewatching their old favorites because it'd be devastating if it didn't hold up. But really, it's not a matter of it holding up or not, but simply becoming something different because you are now something different. And shows you once hated might someday become the ones you love the most. As anime fans, we complain so much about anime wasting our time and whether you should give an anime 3 episodes or 6 episodes or even just 1 episode before dropping it, if it hasn't already grabbed your attention.
Nice!
The last thing I want to do is tell people how to think or behave except to think for yourself. But for me, anime is not some score maximizing algorithm of enjoyment over time. And sometimes, an anime gives me a feeling that is truly priceless, or at the very least unquantifiable. Whether it's big moments like Upper Yard being revealed to be Jaya, the Kagura and Nolan flashback, Robin reading the Poneglyph, Kana starting a coup, or McKinley's redemption speech, or smaller moments like chilling in the big snack, chilling with the little snack, stealing gold that was already a gift, Robin's laugh while they did it, Lucky combing Ice's hair, or even just Luffy making a really funny face, or a million other things that would literally take all day to talk about. These are all moments that I can't put a value on. Moments I can't really do a cost-benefit analysis on. Was Skypiea worth it? It's impossible to say yes or no from an objective stance. What I can objectively say is that it was perfect for me at this specific stage of my life. And I'm not saying you should watch One Piece or anime or any kind of media purely for the purposes of self-help. Basically, nothing ever has to be anything, but if it does end up being something more, that's cool too. It may sound cliche, and it may sound schizophrenic, but each anime I watch feels like a friend to me. Which is still a pitifully inaccurate analogy, but the next best thing I have is playing tennis against yourself, but the wall is pre-programmed to hit the ball back in a specific kind of strategy, and the ball actually represents your soul. Now I just sound like I'm talking about fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! I guess what I'm trying to say is, there's something special about media as a kind of mirror to the soul. And when it reaches that kind of meaning for me, whether or not it was boring along the way ceases to really matter. And that's what Skypiea was for me, a catalyst for change that's been a long time coming. This entire video, I've been not so subtly alluding to struggles I've had between what the world and capitalism and my parents want me to do with my life, and what I want to do with my life. The only life I'll ever have. That thing being YouTube videos, specifically anime YouTube videos. Originally, I uploaded a slightly different version of this video to my second channel, which I wanted to make my main channel, because I wanted to keep this current channel for shitposting, which I thought was pretty reasonable because it's pretty common. And I thought long term it would also be better for the algorithm to separate things out. But I'm realizing now that just like I don't have the luxury of working my full-time job and also being able to create YouTube videos because of how soul-crushingly draining software dev is, I'm not 𝐏𝐤𝐞, and I don't have the luxury of posting to 2 separate channels. I'm a fool if I think I should post to a channel with 3 subscribers over 74. And the whole notion I've had of separating shitposts and not shitposts is entirely fucking arbitrary. Everything is a shitpost, and arguably has been for all of time. Socrates, Epicurus, Aristotle, those people were just spouting whatever the fuck they wanted at the time. And the issue of work this whole time has been my inability to separate myself into multiple personas that don't fuck with each other. And now I'm gonna do that for YouTube too? Am I fucking high? At the end of the original video, I made this monologue about life being hard and nothing making any sense anymore, and then inevitable death. Because those have been thoughts I've been thinking for a long time now, but I shouldn't have, because right now, life has never made more sense. To say One Piece caused that is an exaggeration, and yet still completely true. It was this arc, and then the 3 days I took off to work on an early draft of this video, that made it finally feel like I had a voice again. Because that voice had been lost in a sea of pull requests Slack messages, and tech designs. Things that just happened to pay the most amount of money for the skills I had. Skills that themselves came not from me,
Emotional damage!
but from positive reinforcement from society. And never more have I understood the statement, "We live in a society," to be true. From a pragmatic standpoint, this makes no sense. But in the words of one of my best friends, fuck it, we ball. Thank you for watching.
Don't give it up now, man. Don't give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up.
Here's how the story goes. We find out about a treasure in the grand line, there's no doubt. The pirate whose eye is on it, he'll sing, I'll be king of the pirates, I'm gonna be king.